Honing, honing, honing. Okay, one more. Draw 3. Even though she instructs drawing 1, but I like to draw 3. I feel a balance there for sure. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Here we go. 3. Okay. And no judgment, but just to practice whatever they say, just to keep it in mind. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. So I think it's going to be reversed if I show it to the camera, right? What do you see?
I can't quite make it out. It's okay, there it is. Surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Yes, that's a good one.
Well, I think that's like
core.
core.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very
It's
core.
like step 1.
Yes,
Be willing to, at least, and then move to surrender. And here's what she says about it. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Why, it's not even real. Then you can own your power. And once you start doing that, you do feel that you own your power and you do feel the lift and the soar. So I would say, yes, that is a good one. This is interesting, this one.
Surrender to silence. Amen. Another good one.
Well, except for Facebook and Instagram. That's different. Now this is about your inner to stillness, really, is how I would say. Okay. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go. And there's that letting go coming through, right? We just talked about and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's interesting you bringing that up. I literally was just reading this morning. I was in my sauna, and I was just reading from Gangaji. Have you ever heard of her? She's out there in the East somewhere, but she does these what she calls satsangs. And one of the things that she was talking about was she had gone to India to do work with, and she calls him her beloved mentor, guru Papaji, who was an apostle, if you will, of Ramana Maharishi or something like that. But anyway, one of the things she talks about is that one of the first things that he did was he took everybody into his little ashram and he did a meditation with everybody. And she said she loved the quiet of it. There's very, very few people there. There was no noise. It was solemn and quiet and beautiful. And she said she could really start to sense what she was, who she was in that moment. But then the very next day he took all of them who were there into the marketplace where it was noisy, Facebooky, and he wanted them to see the silence there as well. And she said, I couldn't figure out why he would take us to such a place, but then it hit her that even in the noisiest of places is this silence that we can tap into. In fact, one of the things that, for me, that's happened to me, I used to be the same way. It's, I've got to find this place where I can just be quiet and there's no noise and no distractions. But one of the things that I've found is that I can go into a mall. In fact, I absolutely love Christmas shopping. I'm one of those crazy guys that will go to the busiest mall in Colorado, and I get so much there. And what it is silence. It is a disconnect from what we think it is to a connection to all of these wonderful souls and beings who are reverent and quiet, sweet and wonderful. I don't know how else to explain it, but silence is anywhere. It's anywhere.
Wow, that is so profound, so huge. Are you saying, so when you go to the mall, you're experiencing this like communion?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Wow.
exactly. It is a
Wow,
communion. It's an energy, it's a
that's
peace. It is not, it is not until I engage with the process of having to have something, like a gift or, this, that, or the other, that I lose all that. So as long as I'm just there in this awareness, this presence, it's stimulating. It's beautiful. Most people can't
oh my
understand.
gosh.
Yeah.
That is very, very special teaching, and it's very heartening. It's a concept that says it's portable, it's here. We're not just dissonant. It's
Exactly.
we,
Exactly.
and if we can, and so is it just a letting go
Yeah.
and relaxing into it?
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see the busyness as I don't see the busyness that of the actual shopping and the harriedness of the people. Or I see all of these wonderful, sweet, beautiful beings that I'm just a part of. And I don't even know if well, there's probably not many that get that, but it is so energizing to me. It is so stimulating. It's so fun. It's I don't know. I'm at great peace in those kinds of situations. It's when I re-engage with or engage, if I go there engaged in what they are doing, and I include myself in that doing, that's when you lose it. That's when it all goes away. That's when you get frustrated. That's when you get crazy. It's like, crazy, crazy. Same on the freeway. It's the same driving in heavy traffic.
such a crazy face.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You want to, but you can have that same experience there. In fact, a lot of times I'll find, it's usually in traffic, in heavy traffic where you're getting cut off and things like that, where sometimes I will, I will just, because I'm frustrated, but I'll stop and I'll just pause for a second, catch myself, and then smile. Just smile, and it's like, it's okay. It's just okay. And so you have that peace, you have that silence there as well. In the midst of somebody endangering your life, their life, maybe someone else's life, there's this peace there as well. So
there's that dichotomy and duality and doppelganger or shadow lightness.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing. That is so huge. Oh man, really yeah, I like that communion idea. It's a good practice, really.
Yeah.
It's funny. We do hop into that material self and we go back to, basic instincts that take the form of frustration and anger and everything else. And you can see it all played out.
Yeah, and those basic instincts
social interaction
all formulate from the first card that you read. Is
true.
Giving up this identity that was created in the past, which no longer exists, doesn't exist. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And
Right. And why stay rooted in that? Because you're creating your own reality. No one is creating it for you.
right.
No one is superimposing what's happening. This
Yeah.
is your ecosystem. You're responsible for generating it. Therefore, you can shift. And all it takes is just saying yes.
Yeah.
Say yes.
Yes.
Do what's life enhancing. And that's pretty simple. Surrendering to silence is huge. And really, it is the way, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And this one, then, it goes, I think, with a lot with the first one too. And this has been huge for me lately. And I've been practicing that. Resentment.
Yes.
And I've drawn that now several times over the past several weeks. And it's just, to me, it's always a really good reminder, because it means for me, when I feel like I'm being stingy with whom I love or to what degree, that's, I'm now setting limits to flow, really. So surrendering resentments to me just says, you are blocking all good by holding on to something that's charged for what reason? Because you have beliefs about yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what's now your modus operandi, is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
so, and then that's how you relate to yourself, because of you're being resentful and stingy. That to me is judgment. And of course we judge, but when, if it starts to enact a charge, an emotional charge, and become, this rhetoric, you've got to be aware of it. And so I say, that's really actually a good set. Surrender outdated beliefs about yourself, surrender to silence, surrender resentments. Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm game. I'll talk about that on Facebook then.
Okay.
About how that's going.
Another it's interesting to me, I guess the synchronicity of these cards, but I've been posting a lot on Facebook about this, but again today, just this morning, earlier this morning, I was reading the Gangaji, and she's talking about and it's probably not as strong as a resentment, but she was talking about prior to her going to India to study with Papaji, she said she saw a picture of Ramana Maharishi and saw the crystal blue, the look of peace and in his eyes, in his face. But then she saw the way he slouched in his sitting position, and of course she said at the time she was very into the body, the physical, keeping herself in shape, and and I guess she was pretty buff and all this other stuff. But she says, and the idea formulated in her head, I can't, there's bad posture. I can't get involved with a guy like this because he's got bad posture. And it kind of connects back to that resentment thing. It's like if you have these little ideas that you've kind of made a part of yourself, and you look at others who aren't on the same page with your ideas, nobody's going to work out for you. You are going to be making a mess, looking for people with your kind of perfection, and it ain't there. It's just not there. And we all do that. We'll see somebody that just strikes us wrong, and you miss so much. We as humans having, we as spiritual beings having these human experiences, humans miss far too much for in the experience of being with people, of knowing people, of knowing what's there that isn't a part of us necessarily. We throw it away, And it's, in fact, one of the new age things, you've heard this is, only surround yourself with people who are like you. And I mean, I can't think of a more dismal life. God, to people like me. God, that would be horrible. I can't stand me.
Where he's John Malkovich, and John Malkovich, and he's himself.
Exactly. It's like, oh man, I'm a
worst nightmare.
I know. I couldn't sleep at night.
Oh, I'd be so horrified. I know. I agree. And it makes me think about the C part of be see and be seen, because that's where it's a practice, but it's about presence and just allowing what is, observing what is.
Yeah.
Whether it registers as familiar, then it's new.
Yeah.
Integrates, and you start to feel that opening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. You're having an experience. It's an experience.
Yeah.
So it's multi-sensory.
Yes. And it's
multi-system.
Nobody can have the same, you and I cannot have the same experience twice. It just can't be done. And so, and if you can get that, then literally everything that you experience now is brand spanking new. There is a miracle, there is beauty, there is wonder in it. And to oh, well, that's just like before. You miss it. You miss the miracle. You miss the beauty. You miss the this spectacular show that's going on around you right now, and it's sad. To me, it's just sad.
It is. It's heartbreaking, really.
It is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. We've fooled ourselves into thinking what we are, what we know, is the way it is. And we just back off of that. I don't know anything. So everything I'm going through today or now is brand new, fresh and clean. It's beautiful. It's incredible. So, blah, 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 blah. There I go again.
No, I was going to say something, but then I forgot. But it is, you're right. It is fun to have that freshness too.
Yeah.
That's the newness of it. It's very exciting and stimulating. When I'm in the woods, I've developed this perception of, what does it mean to be nature? We are nature. And to say, like, nature's so beautiful, I don't even know like what to say, but we differentiate, and that's okay. But in reality, we're not differentiated, only that we have this cognitive and perceptual abilities.
Yes.
So we don't know what, others, what infuses, between what we see. Like right now I'm looking out at the snow and the birch trees and the sunshine, but what's between that and me? Is it anything? Well, when I'm there and when I'm actually outside walking and hiking, to feel not only just sense with my body, maybe try to read what's under my feet a little bit more, to try to expand outside of my own physical self, but also to appreciate and be so humbled by and feel so loved by the woods, and that I am participating with the woods. They are I'm being observed. I'm observing just as I observe. It is me also, which makes it just this flow, and just I really can feel connected and start to almost sense more of just the oneness.
Yeah.
It's a very profound feeling. It's hard to describe, but I do believe that we can practice these things and develop these senses for ourselves.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. In fact, I think I've mentioned to you before, but I was posting on Facebook some time ago about People often talk about going out into nature, and that's where they feel connected, and that's where they feel alive, and there's peace and there's quiet, and but the truth of the matter is that when you go out into nature, okay, you're disconnecting from a mental reality that is a part of us, that that kind of rules the tonal that we were talking about earlier. But in reality, what is happening, there's tremendous amount of noise going on, and this goes back to the silence thing that we were talking about. But when you go out in nature, there's birds singing. The sensory inputs that you are taking are huge. There's just you're overwhelmed. The body is overwhelmed by. Call it the silence if you want, but it's really a lot of energetic noise, and that is the connection. And like you said, we are that. We are nature. We are this profound, beautiful sensory awareness that we feel and experience when we are in nature. And so this whole thing about, I go out there because it's quiet. I'm sorry, it's not quiet. If anything, it's screaming. It is screaming at us to know what we already are. And it's beautiful. It's profound. It fills us. I mean, it really does do something to us, but it's not quiet. It is.
Well, it's communion. It's communion again. It's the same. That's right. The way it happens when you're in the woods sometimes. Yeah. And I love what you said, when you were saying about how you can be, in the noise, but yet experience that beauty and that sanctity almost.
Yes.
There is, I think one concept that is helpful is the concept of the and. So that that you can be immersed in what you need to do while you're at the mall, but and this can be your experience.
Yeah.
You can be feeling something could be going wrong, and you could be feeling grumbly, and you can still be happy.
Yes.
You can still be in grief, and you can still be happy.
Yeah. Communion.
And I think silence is, like you're saying, that great, almighty, peaceful, energetic, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. The communion. It is a communion. It literally is a communion. It is communion with what you are already. And of course, in the nature sense, nature gets it. It just gets it.
It really does.
It just does. And so when you're there in nature, it's like, welcome. Hi. How are you? Glad you're here.
Here I am.
Yeah. You can't hide behind the mask you create when you are in nature, because nature doesn't care. And that, and so it sees, it's kind of like what I see when I go to the mall. It's just, I just see so much light and love, and I don't know, it just, and that's what being in nature, it's seeing that as well. We go into life too often thinking that we're going to tell it what to do. I'll show you. And couldn't be further. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to fight what is. And yet we do. Yeah, I'm going to make it better. We crazy. And we all we do is make it worse. So, and then stand there with fists up to the sky. Why are you testing me? Well, I'm not testing you. Just this isn't a test. Go have some fun. Let go.
This is not a test. This is not a test. This is not
Yeah,
a test.
school's over. You're at recess. Come on, have some
Oh
fun.
my gosh. You're making such a good point, though, really, about allowing more joy. And definitely, I think that was one of the most profound messages from Beyond I ever received was, Karla, go have more joy. Go
Yes.
play, have
Yeah.
fun. Why I would have forgotten that
Yeah.
that's crucial. And there's a lot of research about, how to make play integrative and fun and how it creates meaning. It helps to create meaning. It's about relationship.
Yeah.
And if you approach it from a playful attitude, that means you're open.
Yeah.
And you're willing to explore a co-creation, what is, working with the what is in any way, no matter what you do or where you are, to whom you're relating.
Yeah.
It's invaluable to continue to cultivate this kind of connection for sure.
Yeah. This has been awesome. This has been awesome. It's been great. Hey, we're stars. Woohoo! We've made it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm super psyched. I'm super psyched.
Yeah, me too.
This will be fun.
Yeah.
Yay.